Have you ever heard of the Black Emperor of Vietnam? No, this isn't a character from a fantasy novel. This is the story of a real historical figure, a hero who rose from humble beginnings to challenge one of the most powerful empires of his time. Today, we're diving deep into the year 722 AD to uncover the incredible story of Mai Thuc Loan and his massive uprising against the Tang Dynasty. Our story begins in the region, then known as Hoan Chau, which is modern-day Anh and Ha Tinh provinces in central Vietnam. This area, under the rule of the Chinese Tang Dynasty, was a land of breathtaking beauty, but also immense hardship. The Vietnamese people were burdened by heavy taxes and forced labor. The Tang administration demanded countless resources, from precious pearls and elephant tusks to rare timbers and exotic fruits. Among the most grueling of these tributes was the requirement to transport lychees. Now, you might think, lychees? What's the big deal? But these weren't just any lychees. They were a favorite fruit of the Tang Emperor's beloved consort, Yang Gaifei. To ensure they arrived fresh at the capital, Chang'an, thousands of miles away, a relentless relay system was established. Laborers were forced to carry baskets of these delicate fruits, running day and night through treacherous mountains and dense jungles. Many perished from exhaustion, disease, or attacks by wild animals along the way. It was in this oppressive environment that we meet our protagonist, Mai Thuc Loan. Hailing from a poor family in Mai Phu village, now part of Tha Cha district in Ha Tinh, he was known for his extraordinary physical strength and charismatic leadership. Legend says he was strong enough to fight tigers with his bare hands. Like many of his countrymen, he was conscripted into the grueling task of transporting tribute goods. Day after day, Mai Thuc Loan witnessed the suffering of his people. He saw the exhaustion in their eyes, the despair in their hearts. The injustice of it all ignited a fire within him. He couldn't stand by and watch his people be treated as less than human. It was on one of these exhausting journeys, while leading a group of laborers, that he decided enough was enough. Standing before his fellow weary travelers, he made a powerful declaration: to be forced into labor, to have our sweat and blood squeezed for these fruits, only to risk our lives in the wilderness. How can we endure this? It is better to die in a glorious fight for freedom than to live in such misery. His words resonated deeply with the crowd. For too long, they had silently endured their suffering. Now, a leader had emerged, giving voice to their collective anger and frustration. That very day, the group of laborers transformed into a band of rebels. They decided to fight back. This was the spark that would ignite one of the largest rebellions in Vietnamese history against Tang rule. Mai Thuc Loan knew he couldn't challenge the might of the Tang Dynasty alone. He was a brilliant strategist. He began by building a base of operations. He chose a strategic location, a mountain fortress on Vi San Mountain, which offered a strong defensive position. From there, he started to rally people from all walks of life. Farmers, laborers, and even local ethnic minority groups, who were also suffering under Tang oppression, flocked to his banner. His message of freedom and justice united them. His army grew rapidly, swelling to tens of thousands of dedicated followers. To distinguish his forces and proclaim his authority, Mai Thuc Loan took a bold step. He proclaimed himself emperor. Because of his relatively dark complexion, earned from years of hard labor under the sun, the people lovingly called him Mai Hac Di, which translates to the Black Emperor Mai. This wasn't a title of imperial grandeur. It was a title born of the people, a symbol that their leader was one of them. With his army assembled and his leadership established, the Black Emperor launched his offensive. The rebellion spread like wildfire across Hoan Chau. The rebels attacked Tang administrative offices, drove out corrupt officials, and seized control of one district after another. The local Tang garrisons were caught completely off guard by the scale and ferocity of the uprising. They were quickly overwhelmed. Mai Thuc Loan's strategic genius shone through. He didn't just limit his fight to his home region. He forged alliances with neighboring kingdoms like Kampa to the south and Chunla in modern-day Cambodia. This created a broad united front against the Tang, stretching their military resources thin. Within a remarkably short time, My Thuc Loan's forces had liberated the entire region and even marched north to capture Tong Binh, the capital of the Tang Protectorate, which is the site of modern-day Hanoi. For a glorious moment, it seemed that Vietnamese independence was restored. My Thuc Loan ruled as the emperor of a free land. He established his own court and administration, bringing a brief period of peace and self-governance to his people. This was a monumental achievement. A humble laborer had successfully expelled the occupying forces of a superpower and established his own dynasty. However, the Tang Empire was not one to accept such a defeat lightly. Back in the capital, the Tang court was shocked and enraged by the news. The emperor immediately ordered a massive counterattack. A huge expeditionary force, reportedly numbering 100,000 soldiers, was dispatched under the command of the seasoned general Yang Zixu. The Tang army marched south, a formidable force with superior weapons, training, and logistics. My Thuc Loan and his rebel army, despite their courage and high morale, were primarily a peasant force. They were outmatched in terms of military hardware and professional experience. A series of brutal battles ensued. The rebels fought with incredible bravery, defending every inch of their newly won freedom. My Thuc Loan led his troops personally, inspiring them with his own valor on the battlefield. They inflicted heavy casualties on the Tang forces, but the sheer numbers and overwhelming power of the imperial army began to take their toll. Slowly but surely, the Tang forces pushed the rebels back. They recaptured Tong Binh and advanced towards the heart of the rebellion in Hoan Chau. The final stand took place near My Thuc Loan's mountain fortress. Despite a heroic defense, the rebel army was eventually defeated. My Thuc Loan, seeing that the fight was lost, retreated into the dense jungle with his remaining followers. The historical accounts of his final days are varied. Some say he fell ill and died from disease in the wilderness. Others believe he took his own life rather than be captured. Regardless of how he met his end, his spirit of resistance never died. The uprising, which had burned so brightly, was ultimately crushed in less than a year. The Tang re-established their control over the region, and the period of oppression resumed. So, was it all for nothing? Absolutely not. Though the rebellion of My Thuc Loan was short-lived, its impact was profound and long-lasting. It was a powerful testament to the unyielding desire of the Vietnamese people for independence. It showed that even against overwhelming odds, they would rise up to fight for their freedom and dignity. My Thuc Loan, the Black Emperor, became a legendary figure, a national hero. His story was passed down from generation to generation, inspiring countless future patriots in their own struggles against foreign domination. He became a symbol of courage, leadership, and the unbreakable spirit of the Vietnamese people. Today, his legacy is honored throughout Vietnam. Temples are dedicated to him, particularly in his home province of Ha Tinh. His name is remembered in songs, poems, and history books. He is not just a historical figure. He is an embodiment of the national will to resist oppression. The story of My Thuc Loan teaches us a powerful lesson. It shows that true leadership can come from anywhere, and that one person's courage can inspire a nation. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, the fight for freedom is never in vain, and the flame of hope can never be truly extinguished. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, back in time to uncover the story of the Black Emperor. If you found this piece of history as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the past. Let me know in the comments what other historical events or figures you'd like to learn about. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.